Hey, fellow remote targeted individuals and non-targeted individuals. It's Sunday night, and I just kind of wanted to do a last video because I was looking on the internet and I saw an article about remote neural monitoring, and it's actually pro remote neural monitoring, talking about the technology in kind of a way that's like it promotes it, that's saying it's good to have this. It's crazy, so I wanted to read it to y'all. It says, remote neural monitoring, a technology used for controlling the human brain. Have you ever thought about something you never shared with anyone and have been horror-struck at the mere thought of someone coming to know about your little secret? If you have, then you probably have all the more reason to be paranoid now, thanks to a new and improved security systems being developed around the world to deal with terrorism that inadvertently end up impinging on one's privacy. Inadvertently. This guy is advertently impinging on my privacy and my right to life. I'm just going to continue reading. This article makes me mad because it's pro-remote neural monitoring. Some of the countries involved in such programs include USA, UK, Spain, Germany, and France. Recently, the National Security Agency, NSA, of the U.S. has developed a very efficient method of controlling the human brain. This technology is called remote neural monitoring, RNM, and is expected to revolutionize crime detection and investigation. Bullshit. Bullshit was me talking. Let me read that again. This technology is called remote neural monitoring, RNM, and is expected to revolutionize crime detection and investigation. Oh, yay. Yay, what it's done to my life and other innocents. What is it? RNM works remotely to control the brain in order to read and detect any criminal thought, or any thought that's not criminal. And okay, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to read the article, and I'm not going to comment on it. I'm going to read it. I'm just going to read it. It's so ridiculous. RNM works remotely to control the brain in order to read and detect any criminal thought taking place inside the mind of a possible perpetrator. Research studies have shown that the human brain thinks at a rate of about 5,000 bits per second and does not have the capacity to compete with supercomputers performing via satellites, implants, and biotelemetry. The human brain has a distinctive set of bioelectric resonance systems. For RNM systems, supercomputers are being used, and thus, with its help, supercomputers can send messages through an implanted person's nervous system in order to influence their performance in a desired way. RNM has been developed after about 50 years of neuroelectromagnetic involuntary human experiments. And these people are still pro-remote neural. Okay, I'm just going to keep reading and try not to make my head explode. According to many scientists, within a few years, it is expected that DNA microchips will be implanted in the human brain, which would make it inherently controllable. With RNM, it will be possible to read and control a person's emotional thought processes along with the subconscious and dreams. At present, around the world, supercomputers are monitoring millions of people simultaneously with the speed of 20 billion bits per second, especially in countries like USA, Japan, Israel, and many European countries. RNM has a set of certain programs functioning at different levels, like the Signals Intelligence System, which uses electromagnetic frequencies, EMF, to stimulate the brain for RNM, and the Electronic Brain Link, EBL. The EMF brain stimulation system has been designed as radiation intelligence, which means receiving information from an inadvertently originated electromagnetic waves in the environment. However, it is not related to radioactivity or nuclear detonation. The recording machines in the Signals Intelligence System have electronic equipment that investigate electrical activity in humans from a distance. This computer-generated brain mapping can constantly monitor all electrical activities in the brain. The recording aid system decodes individual brain maps for security purposes. The recording aid system decodes individual brain maps for security purposes. Fuck. that. Fuck this article. Okay, what does it do? For purposes of electronic evaluation, electrical activity in the speech center of the brain can be translated into the subject's verbal thoughts. RNM can send encoded signals to the auditory cortex of the brain directly bypassing the ear. This encoding helps in detecting audio communication. It can also perform electrical mapping of the brain's activity from the visual center of the brain, which it does by bypassing the eyes and optic nerves, thus projecting images from the subject's brain onto a video monitor. With this visual and audio memory, both can be visualized and analyzed. This system can, remotely and non-invasively, I want to say that word, non-invasively, and then I want to laugh again. Okay, detect information by digitally decoding the evoked potentials in 30 to 50 hertz, 5 milliwatt electromagnetic emissions from the brain. I want to read that again because I didn't really understand it. The system can, remotely and non-invasively, detect information by digitally decoding the evoked potentials in 30 to 50 hertz, 5 milliwatt electromagnetic emissions from the brain. The nerves produce a shifting electrical pattern with a shifting magnetic flux, which then puts on a constant amount of electromagnetic waves. There are spikes and patterns which are called evoked potentials in the electromagnetic emission from the brain. The interesting part about this, it's so interesting. It's so fucking interesting. All of us targeted individuals think this is so interesting. These people talk about involuntary experiments like it's just part of the program. Fuck them. Fuck these people. The interesting part about this is that the entire exercise is carried out without any physical contact with the subject. The interesting part, that's interesting. The EMF emissions from the brain can be decoded into current thoughts, images, and sounds in the subject's brain. It sends complicated codes and electromagnetic pulse signals to activate evoked potentials inside the brain, thus generating sounds and visual images in the neural circuits. With its speech, auditory, and visual communication systems, RNM allows for a complete audio-visual brain-to-brain link or a brain-to-computer link. Of course, the mechanism needs to decode the resonance frequency of each specific site to modulate the insertion of information in that specific location of the brain. RNM can also detect hearing via electromagnetic microwaves, and it also features the transmission of specific commands into the subconscious, producing visual disturbances, visual hallucinations, and injection of words and numbers into the brain through electromagnetic radiation waves. Like that day where I could not stop thinking of the word bitch, like for half the day until I got under my enclosure, that was the insertion, producing visual disturbances, visual hallucinations, and injection of words and numbers into the brain through electromagnetic radiation waves. That's what happened that day. That's what happens when they screw with your dreams. Also, it manipulates emotions and thoughts and reads thoughts remotely, causes pain to any nerve of the body, so in your toes or in your chest, your heart palpitating, or it can make your neck hurt or your throat hurt. Also, it manipulates emotions and thoughts and reads thoughts remotely, causes pain to any nerve of the body, allows for remote manipulation of behavior, controls sleep patterns through which control over communication is made easy. This can be used for crime investigation and security management. Did you just hear what this article just said? This can be used for crime investigation and security management. This can be used for crime investigation and security management. Propaganda of evil, here we come. I want to read that paragraph over again and not stop and just keep reading. I want to read that paragraph over. Of course, because this is how these people are talking about it. They're talking about it emotionlessly, and it's just, it's technology, and blah, blah, blah. Of course, the mechanism needs to decode the resonance frequency of each specific site to modulate the insertion of information in that specific location of the brain. RNM can also detect hearing via electromagnetic microwaves and it also features the transmission of specific commands into the subconscious, producing visual disturbances, visual hallucinations, and injections of words and numbers into the brain through electromagnetic radiation waves. Also, it manipulates emotions and thoughts and reads thoughts remotely, causes pain to any nerve of the body, allows for remote manipulation of behavior, controls sleep patterns through which control over communication is made easy. This can be used for crime investigation and security management. All right, and away we go. Power, and there's this little picture in the middle. I don't know if y'all can see. There's this little picture in the middle between the article. Power is high performance computing. Power is high performance computing. Now it has a little section called concerns. Concerns. There are concerns about this technology. There are some concerns about this technology. With all the given benefits of RNM, oh my God, hold on guys. I'm just going to read it. I'm going to try and read it. Oh my God. I had to, because this is pro remote neural monitoring. I think I'm having a nosebleed from insanity overload. Oh my God. Nope, just not. Okay. With all the given benefits of RNM for tracking the illicit and treacherous activities, there are many concerns and risks being pointed out by the human rights activists and other scientists. The agencies of human rights around the world have criticized RNM as a violation of basic human rights because it violates privacy and the dignity of thoughts and activities of life. Several countries have protested against it and refer to it as an attack on their human and civil rights. I'd have to agree. The scientists protesting against the use of RNM believe that people who have been implanted involuntarily become biological robots and guinea pigs for RNM activities in the guise of security. This is an important biological concern related to microchip implantation, which is a hidden technology using microwave radiations for the control of the mind. Scientists believe that, like leukemia and the cancerous risks posed by mobile phones, which also emit microwaves, RNM can also pose similar threats to a subject's overall health, as the heating effect of tissues with the speed of light is a known effect of high-powered microwave and electromagnetic pulse weapons. Thus, RNM remains a controversial technology which is being used in many countries for security, maintenance, and surveillance. Security, maintenance, and surveillance. Oh my God. And then it said comments are closed at the bottom. Duh. Because every comment they got on this was like negative, saying how these people are evil, and to even put it in a light of how it's going to stop crime when they're using it on innocent people who've done nothing is completely fucking ridiculous. Comments are definitely closed. Yeah. Duh. I just wanted to read y'all this completely insane, like actually promoting remote neural monitoring, and say that it can help security, can help promote security. What a bunch of horseshit. Ethics. Oh, there is a little section on ethics. I'll read this too. Mind control, remote neural monitoring. Daniel Estulin and Magnus Olson on Russia Today. Those are two guys who are against this stuff. Oh, gotta make sure that video uploads. Yeah, it's almost done. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna read. This is just about the ethics and people who are against it. So this is actually really good. But it's Daniel Estulin and Magnus Olson. I'll go ahead and read it. Brain on the internet, the fatal consequences of mind control. Some good information. www.mindcontrol.se www.mindcontrol.se. It's Mindtech Sweden. So it's some Sweden guys. I think it's been translated, so it's kind of hard to read. Some of the plural words were not plural. I'll just go ahead and finish it off by reading this. Mind Control, Remote Neural Monitoring, Daniel Esselin and Magnus Olsson on Russia Today. This show, with the original title Control Mental, El Sueño Dorado de los Dueños del Mundo, Mind Control, the Golden Dream of the World's Masters, broadcasted to some 10 million people, was one of the biggest victories for victims of implant technology so far. Thanks to Magnus Olsson, who, despite being victimized himself, worked hard for several years to expose one of the biggest human rights abuses of our times, connecting people against their will and knowledge to computers via implants of the size of a few nanometers, leading to a complete destruction of not only their lives and health, but also personalities and identities. And now we know that you don't even need to be implanted to be messed with by this stuff, because they're using microwaves and not necessarily implants in the body. Very few people are aware of the actual link between neuroscience, cybernetics, artificial intelligence, neurochips, transhumanism, the science fiction cyborg, robotics, somatic surveillance, behavior control, the thought police, and human enhancement. They all go hand in hand, and never in our history before has this issue been so important as it is now. I completely agree. One reason is that this technology that begun to develop in the early 1950s is by now very advanced, but the public is unaware of it, and it goes completely unregulated. There is also complete amnesia about its early development, as Lars Drudgaard of ICAACT mentioned in one of his interviews last year. The CIA funded experiments on people without consent through leading universities and by hiring prominent neuroscientists of that time. These experiments have since the 50s been brutal, destroying every aspect of the person's life, while hiding behind curtains of national security and secrecy, but also behind psychiatric diagnosis. The second is that its backside, mind reading, thought police, surveillance, pre-crime, behavior modification, control of citizens' behavior, tastes, dreams, feelings, and wishes, identities, personalities, and not to mention the ability to torture and kill anyone from a distance, is completely ignored. All the important ethical issues dealing with the most special aspects of being a free human being living a full human life are completely dismissed. The praise of the machine in these discourses dealing with not only transhumanism ideals, but also neuroscience today has a cost, and that is complete disrespect, despise, and underestimation of human beings, at least when it comes to their bodies, abilities, and biological function. The brain is, though, seen as the only valuable thing, not just because of its complexity and mysteries, but also because it can create consciousness and awareness. We're prone to diseases. We die, we make irrational decisions, we're inconsistent, and we need someone to look up to. In a radio interview on Swedish Filosofiska Rummet entitled Me and My New Brain, Jack Och Minja Hjarna, I guess that's Swedish, neuroscientist Martin Ingvar referred to the human body as a bad frame for the brain. Questions about individual free will and personal identity were discussed, and the point of view of Martin Ingvar was very much in line with Jose Delgado's some 60 years ago in its buried history of mind control. We don't really have any choice. We're not really having a free will, or for that matter, any consistent personality. That doesn't make any sense. What did he say? We don't really have any choice. We're not really having a free will, or for that matter, any consistent personality. This would be enough reason to change humans to whatever someone else wishes. For example, an elite. This is kind of a justification for mind control, saying that we don't have free will. Another reason for why this issue dealing with brain implants is important, of course, is the fact that both the U.S. and the EU pour billions of dollars and euros in brain research every single year. A brain research very focused on not only understanding the brain, but also highly focused on merging human beings with machines, using neuroimplants to correct behavior and enhance intelligence, creating robots and other machines that think and make autonomous, intelligent decisions, just like humans do. Ray Kurzweil, whose predictions about the future technological developments have been correct at least until now, claims that in 20 years, implant technology has advanced that far that humanity has been completely transformed by it. We cannot know right now whether his predictions is right or wrong, but we have the right to decide on the kind of future we want. I do not know if eradicating humanity as we know it is the best future or the only alternative. Today we might still have a choice. Something to think about. Can you research the depths of the human brain on mice? Okay. I just wanted to read y'all that article on remote neural monitoring. I'll if I see something really cool on the internet, because I'm going to be reading a lot more about it, not just watching YouTube videos, so I can maybe look up some of the patents and everything, and maybe read some of the patents to y'all. Just read them over YouTube. You know, I'm gonna expand, because I never go on just Google and actually read articles. I'm always just looking at testimonies and not really studying the science behind it. But I want to learn more about the science of remote neural monitoring, because of course I'm being remote neural monitored, and that's what this guy's acting like it's some kind of policing or some kind of deterrent crime. They're using it for pre-crime or whatever. But it's stupid, because y'all saw Myron May's case. Like, he completely planned to go into the library and shoot people. They were remote neural monitoring him, surveilling him, illegally surveilling him through his wall, shooting him with directed energy weapons. And when he went and did that, they did nothing. No police were sent or anything like that. So completely ridiculous that they would say that it's somehow has to do with stopping people from doing crazy stuff and then not do anything about it when they do. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy. They're trying to make justifications for little experiments and hurting people and looking at their minds. And they want to, this guy, my organizer, just wants to justify murdering and torture and domination and reading people's thoughts. He knows I'm not dangerous. He wants to make me dangerous. He's not going to get what he wants. I'll never give him whatever he wants. Whatever he wants, I want to give him the opposite of that. I want to make his life to where he has to fight and he has to take it out of me. I ain't giving him anything. But all right, guys. And I guess I don't really have to give him anything if he's just pulling it straight from my brain and shoving crap in there. It's awful. All right, I've done some negative videos this weekend. There will be some more, hopefully more positive videos. It's just all dark. It's the darkest stuff I've ever researched and I've ever been a victim of or survivor of. And so it's not something that you're like, this is happy stuff. I mean, it's so absurd that it's funny, on some levels. But all right, that was my late night Sunday video. I'm on call next week, so my week's going to be pretty hectic, and I have no energy at all, because this whole weekend was spent dealing with these torture people and their little experiments and their selfishness and their murder and their torture and their need to make everything hell. So, all right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Live long and prosper. We will overcome. We will overcome. We can. We will. We will do this. All right, guys. Good night.